Hey, this is part two of the DTF ciss setup. I'm gonna explain some parts to you. This part right here, this part connects to your cart. There's a little hole under here, under there, and another hole. You can lock it in with this, holding it down. But I just use this clip. It's more convenient for me. Whatever you guys want to do, you can use it yourself. This is your tank extender, right? So you clip that on there into your hose, into your pipeline, right? Now, if you have any issues like your pipeline gets screwed up or you put them in the wrong way, all you need, this part right here, this piece, see how it's a double side, you can cut it, put it right there, and then you put your pipelines where you need them to be, okay? This part, as I've shown you, goes into your cart, which hooks up to the pipeline to distribute the ink into the ink chamber. Now, if you lose one of these, or one is not in the package, because, nobody's perfect, you can always use this. That's what it's there for, just in case. Or if any ink buildup is in there, you can push through that buildup and get it in because it has the metal pin. Alright? Your ink line in our old set, this is what we used to use. You stick this on, it holds your holds your pipelines in place. But we were finding that after a while it will start peeling up, right? Oh, and there's your other clip for right here that you can use if you don't want to use the pin. I just found that whenever I use those pins, this pin in here, it got in my way. I didn't really like it. You know what I mean? And what else was there? So as you can see, what we did is we drilled holes here to hold the line in place. Okay? So it holds it in place, keeps it nice and snug. We added zip ties in there for you guys so that you guys can zip tie them on top, and it just looks more better and more clean. It stays all together. Alright? So remember, when you're doing this, you put in your extenders first, then put in the pipeline. You cut the pipeline, measure it up to here to 12 inches, 12, 11 inches, whatever suits you. Right? Keeping this maybe 2 inches to an inch and a half. Alright? And then, as you can tell, what I did is I just split the wires. After I connected them, I split the wires, so it's just more movement, right? Instead of them all being together like that. Or you can keep them together like that, it doesn't matter. Alright? You got your flows. Right? Now, as you can see, because I have it on the left side, the black is at the bottom here, but your ink tank over here for the black is at the top. Magenta, yellow, white, blue. Same thing. I should change this on the other side, but it's just better for me. It's more, my white is more closer. My white is more closer, but everything is working the way it's supposed to work. All right? Okay. Another thing that I like to do once I get it set up is every morning when I come down, I unplug. This is going to give you your ink, your white ink is going to flow perfectly every single time. Alright, so this is what I do. I take off the white, go back, go back, and I just pull. So what this is doing is pulling new ink from the tank to your ink chamber, and you're pulling out the old ink from yesterday. So this will always help keeping your ink fresh and new. And all you do, just take it, add it back into your tank, close up, grab your other white tank, take off your thing, your plug, pull through. Always pulls new fresh ink, white ink, into your tank. Put your ink back. Make sure you whenever you do this, make sure you take off only the cap for the one that you're using. I did this one time where I took off both caps and ended up pointing my white into my blue. So remember, always keep your the lid that you're working on, that's the lid that you take off. Okay? My fresh ink is gone through. Next thing I need to do, dismiss the firmware. Don't update the firmware, else you're going to have to restart and do everything back again to program your printer and your chipless firmware and all that stuff. So I do my print head clean. As you can see, look at the print head. There's hardly any ink on there. Sometimes, when you first set up your ciss, you're gonna notice that there's not that much ink and everything, and you got to do a couple print head cleans, and you'll start to see it flow. It just doesn't happen right away, right? These things are fidgety. It's not meant to do DTF, so you got to take your time with it and figure this stuff out on your own, right? So it's doing this print head clean. Let's see how it looks. Alright, there you go. This ciss is amazing. It's amazing. I've had this ciss for maybe about a year and a half now, and works perfectly, flawlessly. Now another issue, the issue that I had before I got this ciss was I was watching YouTube videos about how you have to clean it, you have to constantly do the maintenance and blah blah, and because I had another ciss tank that that wasn't as good as this, I was getting floods. So when it would flood, there was a sensor underneath your cartridges in the print head that once it flooded, it would hit that, the ink would get on this sensor and the sensor would give you a paper jam. So I followed a couple of YouTube videos saying that you have to take this apart and do a whole bunch of crap. And so what you would do is you'd unplug it, get your print head over to here. There's a hole there that when you go down, there's a screw. You take off that screw, you undo the print heads, blah blah blah. And then when I was putting the screw back, the screw is not in metal. It's on this cartridge. It's on this cartridge plate back here, and that's made out of plastic. So what happens is if you tighten it too much, and this thing you're not supposed to tighten that much at all. You just make sure it's snug. You over snug it, it'll strip the plastic. And then what happens after the plastic, the seal, when you put your ink cartridges back in, the seal is not tight at all. Right? So what will happen is because the seal is not tight, the blue, what was happening to me is the blue was seeping into my white. And I'd see a blue coming all the way up in my lines, and my prints would have the blue on it and blah, blah, blah. And so I tried everything to fix that. I taped it down. I tried to glue it down. And there was another guy on YouTube that said that all I need to do is get this plastic thing from him and put it right underneath where the prints, and it'll close the suction. I tried that. Didn't work. Screwed up. I had to get a whole new printer. So this is why I tell everybody right at the beginning, get yourself the best ciss you can get. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's 100% worth it. You won't be disappointed. You'll be disappointed when you're forced to have to go and buy this, because that's exactly what happened to me. At first I tried the regular carts. I wasn't getting enough ink all the time and stopped. So then I went to a ciss, and the ciss it didn't have the damper, and it was a low quality ciss. Right? And then I was going through problems with that. And then once I got this ciss, all those problems ceased. But what happened was I went back into doing another clean and took out that screw and screwed me up. Right? So with this ciss, from I had this ciss, I don't have to do any cleaning. I don't have to do any maintenance. I just leave it in. And if I want, every 2 months, I can take these out, get my other carts that I can put the cleaning solution in, put it in just to clean off and just to loosen up any debris. But I don't really have to with this ciss. But I just do it just because I'm not sure. I haven't had it in there for more than, the longest I've had it in was for 3 months. And that's with no problems, consistency, everything was great, blah, blah. I just took out and I did an extra cleaning with the cleaning solution. All right. So, as I'm saying, this ciss is wonderful. It's beautiful. It hasn't given me any issues. Anytime I get any clogs or anything to clean this out, it's simple. Simple. Simple, simple. So now, because I did that print head cleaning, I do one more just to make sure I'm pulling all the newer ink into the lines and getting everything going, right? Great thing I said about this ciss is that you can just take this off if you want to shake all your ink tanks. There you go. Right? Now remember, as I said, we have 2 books under here. This is to keep it level with the print head, or at least near level with the print head. You can put it up a little bit more. I didn't, but I just don't have it all the way down. You know what I mean?